yesterday said that he knew that there was a lot of criticism of his play after the Cincinnati game. I'm curious what you saw of him last week during practice, what you were impressed with, the way he handled that situation.
You know, like a lot of young guys, and unfortunately for Tom, he's really a true freshman in a way in that his time on the practice field. A lot of these true freshmen we have right now, you know, Tom was hurt before the season and missed the whole year and wasn't able to practice the whole year. So he's learning, he's maturing, growing all the time and getting more comfortable and used to playing. And that is natural, you know, for all young guys. And so I just see more consistency and more comfort in what he's recognizing and you know, and recognizing plays where I need to be. And he's in the toughest spot. There's a million things that are misdirection that come your way that, you know, that you have to read. And so depending on what the defense is. So anyway, I just see more consistency and comfort last week. And I expect to continue to see it. As again, with not Tom, but all these young guys, the more they're on the field, I think they'll continue to play better.
When you have I mean, that happens every year with young guys. Do you just let those guys work through that, or do you say something to them about, you know, handling the pressure of playing here?
No, we don't. We're not much on handling the pressure of playing here. You're here. You should expect to play and play well, and to have demands on you, you know. But they all know that. No, but it's just continuing to coach them, you know, to teach them and coach them, and then when they start to get it, it's, you know, it becomes a little easier. Then they start to, like a lot of people say, the game starts to slow down, and you start to see, hey, you know, you see it better.
Do you see that on the practice field, or not until it takes place in a game do you really, oh yes, this is happening now?
No, you could see it in the practice field too, but obviously the game, everything's magnified. It's just that much faster.
All these true freshmen that are playing, are you seeing it from them in ways you don't see it from other classes? I mean, this is a special class.
There's no doubt about it. There's no denying. You look at the freshmen that contributed in that huge games versus Texas a week ago. Now, these guys impacted the game. Kenny Stills had a huge game. Great catch, you know, the first touchdown. Trey Millard every game has been outstanding, and was again the other night. Running the ball, catching it, blocking, you know, was, you know, just great. Tony Jefferson has been outstanding every game, had another great game. Aaron Colvin was in there, didn't flinch, you know, had a really good game. And Daniel Noble in the D-line, you know, continues to do well. So those guys are good players, and I saw it before the game. They couldn't wait to play. You know, there wasn't a bit of doubt in their eyes, and they played that way. So and then I even made a point the night before the game talking to, because we had all our guys down there because it was our home game, that there's a bunch of freshmen that aren't playing, or like a Corey Nelson's. You should see him on kickoff. He's fantastic. The guy is really a player, and that aren't playing as much maybe yet, or that are working into it, and even some that are being redshirted. It is a real, you know, I said, you guys need to be encouraged. Your time will be next year, and or sooner than you think. And you're going to be good. I mean, it's a really strong class, and again, a bunch of them that you're not even talking about are really going to be great players.
A couple of us were trying to figure out when the last time a fullback out of a two-back formation got handoffs.
I said that after the game. I don't think we ever have. 12 years, I bet.
Seth Luttrell.
Oh yeah, that's right. JD, and we gave it to Seth.
Yeah.
You threw it to him an awful lot.
Seth in 99 got it.
That was a fake punt. When we
Seth gets some short yards.
Yeah, he probably did. I can't. I'm
But,
not sure.
I mean, Matt Clapp was always one back.
Yeah.
Other guys didn't really get any action.
Yeah, that was a nice wrinkle that we put in, and again, because of how much you know, faith and how much we like Trey and what he's able to do.
Time for your weekly Ronell Lewis update. What does he need to do to get more playing time? Is he closer?
Yeah, it continue to you know, do the things we need him to do in practice, and I mean he's does a nice job, but it's getting the trust that as a defensive end and everybody goes down, that he closes off the gap instead of running upfield, or I mean there's a lot of little subtleties that go into, as well as you know, mental errors or not, and you know, just being accountable to the defense. But he's a great guy that works hard every day, and we love him. So we continue to work with him, and you know, and we'll see where it goes.
You guys have said you don't use the shadow on defense, but he looked like a couple of times he was in there rushing.
No, we do. I mean, we're letting, he's following the quarterback, allowing the guys to rush freely up front, and he just plays off of them. And he did a nice job with that and pressured the quarterback some, and that is something we do in long yardage.
With Colvin playing so well, do you rotate those three guys now when Fleming comes back?
We'll see. Jamel was playing great too, so it definitely, we'll have, Aaron start to be in there more some, yeah.
What is
To a
your
degree.
situation with those guys?
They're all going to be, we'll have everybody ready to play next week except Casey Walker. And everyone's, I believe, practicing this week.
Juan Miller, he was okay?
Yeah. Yeah, if we were playing this week, everybody would play except Casey.
Has Macon won the starting defensive end job?
Well, he did, this past week, so we'll see. Coach Wright will work on that this week and next week and see how those guys are playing.
What about Austin Box? Can you say he's healthy, obviously?
He's going to practice this week, and yeah,
Can you talk about how you work him in with some of the other things you've already done with the defense?
Yeah, we'll just see. It's been a while since he's been on the field and been able to, we'll see the condition and how he's able to handle, condition-wise, wind-wise, and all of that. So, we got to work through that here in the next couple of weeks.
This injury, is he getting the weight room and stuff?
Not really, no. So, it may, we'll just see physically too, even though that's part's healed, how is he prepared to play yet?
You mentioned Dewan and his injury. Can you talk about how well he played and just his confidence and how much that can help the offense? Because obviously Ryan is going to see a lot of coverages.
Yeah, and I said that kind of earlier, but I'll say it again, that Dewan and Kenny had big days, and that makes it harder now to double team or to pay so much attention to Ryan Broyles. And I loved it that the plays they made were competitive, tough plays where they were challenged and came up with the ball. Dewan made some great catches, and he's a big athlete out there and used his body well. And again, Kenny as well had some, had a first touchdown was a great catch, and what a great ball too. The ball couldn't have been anywhere else, and no one talks about that, but that ball was stuck right where he could put one hand up and get it, but Kenny he's that kind of guy, can make that catch.
Bobby, it'd be real easy for this team to hear that they're now favored after one game in the conference to play in the conference championship game, and with an off week, kind of hear how good they are and be vulnerable for the next game. Do you address that?
No, well, I mean, we're very aware of where, and it was talked about at great length yesterday of all the different areas we got to keep working and improving and go out and practice. And so I really sense that they're hungry to practice this week to make that improvement. We're still got an awful lot of young guys and guys that, that haven't played that much football. That I was talking about this earlier today on the radio, that we, these college guys are so young. There's a lot of maturity and experience gained and technique work that should improve as you go through the year, and we got to make it. We're a long way from a finished product, so our job is to keep working it and pushing it to make that improvement. And I think we will. It's what I've said about these guys in the spring and the summer. They've had an attitude that way of being hungry to improve and to work. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And I said that last week. The Texas game's one game. We've got 7 conference games ahead of us, and if you don't win those, that game doesn't much matter. And I believe that again today.
Bob, on the fake field goal, Jimmy started to trot out on the field and called him back. And O'Hara went in. Why did you want O'Hara out there for the
Because
fake?
O'Hara usually kicks our longer field goals and ones that are into the wind.
Would you address the kickoff? There's been a lot of questions about not having enough people back and what the thinking was on DeMarco's late game.
Well, we felt if he did kick it, we wanted to be sure we could recover the onside was our primary, obviously our primary concern, and we felt if he kicked it deep, we would be able to get back and get it and obviously recover it. We still had the guys up front blocking, and those two were to go back and get it deep.
Would you do the same thing again in that
No.
same situation?
No, we'd have a guy back and take our chances, be a guy short on accounting for the onside. you know, I just really felt strongly they'd onside kick it, you know, and that's, again, that's my judgment, or it's wrong of me, but in the end, we just take our chances, be a guy short up front, and have a guy deep.
Don't you feel like if you had got a guy or two deep, that they would have onside?
Who knows, you know, I doubt it, but if they had, then your guy short up front, and you should have had him up there, but in the end,
Looked like Matt called his kicker over and was playing a little chess game, or X's and O's or whatever. So
it could have been. Again, my primary concern was to get the onside kick, and it worked out.
What were your emotions when that ball went over everybody's head and was rolling towards the goal line, and it was a foot race? What was going through your head before DeMarco grabbed it, or
I
before?
got a lot of faith in DeMarco. He'd get it, you know, and we worked out, if it's going to go in the end zone, let it go. And fortunately, it went in by about a foot.
He seemed to be a pretty cool customer at that point, because he could have grabbed it before.
Well, he's a senior, and he's played a lot of football, and so he's a guy you want making that decision for sure, and he is cool and competitive and what you want in those situations.
What's your thoughts? There are a lot of conference teams playing Thursday night games. Would you want to play Thursday night games?
No, I don't. You got 85,000 people who plan their weekend here 10 years in advance. We're not going to go. I mean, you know, that's not something we did at the one time. Was it Thursday or Friday with Tulsa? And only because that was a local thing, but that's not something we'd do.
Would you do it for a road game, if as long as, or would you
I don't know.
consider it for a road game?
I guess if it was after an off week, it'd be considered, but I don't know. It's not something we're anxious to do a lot of.
Speaking of that, Bob, the next year's schedule, a lot of people have asked about that. When you're doubled up now, going to Stillwater 2 years in a row. Did you have input on that? Did you have different scenarios you could have?
We did. There were multiple ones to vote on, but in the end, there's no way around it. It's that, or you have to go some other places 2 years in a row, or other people come to you two years in a row. So it's just kind of one of those issues that we didn't see a lot of way around it, to be quite honest with you.